Okay, so here's what's going on today. I got a buddy named Scott who lives up in Bingham, which is a goodly ways from here. And, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Today I'm going to pull the front wheels off the truck. I'm looking at possibly putting new brake pads on them or calipers. I noticed it making a few little weird sounds when I was on my trip to New York yesterday and back. And so I just want to explore that. But I want to take the hot rod out first because I've got a friend that lives up in Bingham. He's a hot rod fella. In fact, me and him used to race together back in the day. I shouldn't say race together. Let me say that differently. And my camera's not flipping, and I'm still trying to figure out how to make this camera do all the things I want to do. And maybe I could turn it around like this and just look at you that way. This fella used to race up at Unity Raceway back in the day. He was a mini stock driver. They ran Pintos, mostly Pintos, but a few other cars. He put together a frame out of an S10 truck back when no one had ever thought about doing it, and got himself promptly disqualified from the mini stock class because of that. And I went up and visited with him, and while I was there I learned that he'd been a lumberjack, and at one point a tree fell on him in the woods and broke his back, and he crawled out of the woods on his elbows and hands. He was paralyzed from the waist down, got himself out to safety and flagged down a car and took him to the hospital and lived through that. So anyway, years later, like 30 or more, 30 years later, he's got a hot rod. I got a hot rod. His is a hot rod 48 Ford truck with a flathead V8 in it, fenderless, and of course I've got Studebaker. So I found out he's coming down. He lives way up yonder on the other side of Route 2 up in Bingham, somewhere up there. Bingham? I may not have that right. Anyway, he lives way up there, and he's coming down here to go buy some Chevy parts, and I found out where he's going to be at, so I'm going to take the Studebaker over and meet him along the way, and we're going to run down to where he's going and back, and then have some dinner, and then I'll come back and he'll go home. So that's what we're going to do today, but I'm also going to get the hot rod out here and get the nose of the old Dodge truck stuck into the door here so that we can operate on it appropriately. Now, one of the things I'm going to do with this camera, I guess, is I've been playing with the settings. I'm going to reset them again because I don't think they're right. So I'm going to go do that right now. Okay, I just reset the camera, and it does. No, still looking at the roof, still looking at the ceiling. See, that ain't right. Let me do this. Yeah, see, it's still looking at the ceiling. There's a setting. There's so many settings on this camera. I'm just going to sit down here on the stump right now and do this till I figure out what needs to be done to make it right. Oh, the joy. Okay, I think I've just fixed it. I think what happened was I had this on an underwater setting. Now, you know, when you go to just pushing buttons and stuff, it's a little bit hard to tell what you're doing, but that's what I was doing. But you know, if I push these buttons long enough, I'll figure out how this all works, and then we'll all be happy. Happy, wee, happy. So let's get the hot rod out of here and get the truck in here. Let's figure out where I want y'all to be. I used to have a rock heading over here in the edge of the bushes that I could set y'all on. A little flat rock here, right in here somewhere. I think that one right there might do it. Well, this one here looks pretty good. That might be my rock right there. Put y'all on that rock. I'll sit still now and just watch. And then bring the hot rod out. Okie dokie.